Hey guys, Sierra Bailey here with Accel Commercial Real Estate. The video you're watching ties into our event in June, Accelerate. If you want to learn more about what you see today, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description to get your tickets now before early bird pricing runs out. Enjoy the video.
When I coach a lot of people, I'm like, what's your primary skill? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Okay. And if you don't have a primary hard skill, you're not going to have demand for that skill. So I want to put it in cycles. Over here, I'm building my primary skill. If I ask you tonight, what's your primary hard skill? Okay. And maybe if you're in this business, it's raising capital. Maybe you're really good at raising capital. I had a friend once who was really good. His primary skill was getting close to rich people. Is that a good skill? I'm like, that dude can get closer to money than anybody I've ever seen. And he wanted to meet Mike Huckabee. And so here's what he did. He flew to New York City. He sat on the front row of Mike Huckabee's show. He walked up and introduced himself to Mike Huckabee. The next thing you know, he's going to Israel with Mike Huckabee. Well, guess who goes to Israel with Mike Huckabee? A bunch of rich people. And he would go with all these rich people to Israel. They'd spend 7 days together. Next thing you know, the guy's got all kinds of business. And I'm like, his primary skill is he knows how to get access to wealthy people. And they trust him, right? That's a skill, yes or no? Okay, so then it's like, where did he develop that skill? So think about you, the way you really generate wealth, in my opinion, to first get started. Because I didn't have any money. When I first started buying real estate like you, I was buying single family residential. And it was because I was coaching my primary skill. Then I woke up one day and had $100,000 in my bank account. And I'm like, dang, where'd that come from? And then I woke up one day and had $500,000 in my bank account. I was like, dang, where'd that come from? Then I woke up one day and had $1 million in my bank account. I'm like, dang, where'd that come from? And guess where it came from? People paying me to do what? Be their coach. Everybody see that? Then it's like, what do I need to do with this money? Oh, maybe I should start investing in real estate. Everybody see that? But if you never get good at step one, guess what you never have? You never have that money to get started in step two, unless you know how to raise capital. Everybody with me? So step one, building your primary skill. When you build your primary skill, guess what? People are going to want it. And then you start to build what? Demand. Okay? And when you start to build demand for that skill, now you have 100 people who want it, or 200 people, or 300 people who want it, but you're not finished. See? So at 31 years old, I had won a championship. I had written 4 books, and now I'm retiring from basketball coaching. Okay? And I'm going to go over and start a business. I didn't know the difference between asset and liability. Assets do what? Add. Liabilities do what? Subtract, right? But I didn't know that. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? So I'm going to go ahead and start coaching people. And the next thing you know, I started coaching people, and I'm building demand for my primary skill. The next thing you know, I wake up and I got 100 people in my little network. And then I got 200 people in my network. And then I got 300 people in my network. And I said, here's what I should do. I should start letting these people exchange with each other. Meaning I should let them spend time with each other, do deals with each other, give ideas and energy to each other. Guess what they do? They keep introducing me to new associations, new people. You don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm here tonight because Janet and Brian are some of my best clients, and guess what they're doing? They're putting me in front of who? How many of y'all knew me before I came tonight? Okay, a few of you, right? But now you know me a whole lot better. Okay, but so here's the deal. I understand the concept. You don't need more money, you need more people. People have the money. You get in front of the people, you have something valuable, then maybe they can exchange, right? So step one is what? Build a primary skill. Step two is build demand for that skill. Step three is build networks from that skill. Step four is let those networks exchange with each other. So upstairs, I'm building out a greatness factory. And a greatness factory is a unique destination location based on the concept of structures of exchange. It's where like-minded people will come. Guess what they'll do? Exchange with each other. Exchange ideas, exchange energy, exchange money, exchange ambition, right? Now, I didn't call it the complacency factory, although we could make some money at that one too, right? We call it the greatness factory, because guess what kind of people are going to come to the greatness factory? People who want to be great. People who want to get better. People who want to get coached. People who want to be around other like-minded people. People who want to grow and expand. How much money can be generated upstairs at that greatness factory in real estate deals, in joint ventures, in new partnerships, in raising capital? There's no telling. It could be millions of dollars, right? Because it is a structure of exchange. So 31 years old, I started learning about money. And I say, you know what? I didn't learn money growing up, but I'm going to learn about money. And I'm going to go and I'm going to understand the difference between assets and liabilities. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to use what some people may consider liabilities as assets. So in my life, I take money from my coaching business and I invested in unique real estate. And at that unique real estate, I actually used that real estate for more coaching. So I bought a big 8,000 square foot lodge. And people looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and couldn't figure out what to do with it. And I walked in and looked at it and said, I'll take it. And they're like, why would you want to do this? Because I do events there. So I put down $293,000 on that lodge and I made $500,000 back in the first year. Now, is that a good investment? Yes or no? Okay. How many of you think that's a good investment? That's a good investment, right? Because now I'm using the real estate to do what? Tie back to my primary business, which is coaching. I just coach people to this cool place. I love it. They love it. And we make money doing it, and that's called intentional congruence. If I can get 50 people to come to the lodge and they pay $5,000 a piece, then I make $250,000 in 2 days. That's a good 2 days, yes or no? Come a long way from making $199.50, right? But here's the deal. I'm still doing what I love doing. I'm just doing it in environments that I love doing it with people I love doing it with. Everybody see that? That is called intentional congruence. So where do you think most people struggle? Is it finding their primary skill? Is it building demand for that skill? Is it creating networks around that skill, or is it building structures of exchange? Okay, because we're flying back from Las Vegas the other night, and I said, hey, I want to start Monster Capital, right? Because I have all these people that come to me with all these deals. You know how many real estate deals I get pitched in a week? A bunch, right? And I don't even have time to deal with all of them. And it's not only that, it's like, hey, here's a business to be involved in, and hey, here's a real estate play, here's apartment complexes to buy, here's to do this. And I'm like, Jana, I need to start Monster Capital because I guarantee you we could raise millions of dollars and go out there and what? Buy real estate, do whatever. She said, well, I really think you ought to do this. I didn't even think about doing what she told me to do until we were on that airplane together. That is the structure of exchange. Does that make sense? Okay, and I, just like you, I'm into making passive income. I'm a grinder. I've always been a grinder. I'm a hard worker. I get up early, I stay late. That's who I am. But I'm 44 years old and I have 2 kids. And I, just like everybody else in the room, want to leverage all of my past and all of my relationships to generate generational wealth. Proverbs says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Most people can't get the primary flow of income right to ever have the secondary flows of income. Everybody see that? And when I really study it, I'm like, why can't they get this thing going? It's because they never, like you, put the years in to build the money to be able to start. I started with 4 single-family residential homes. I sat on those homes for 3 or 4 years, and then I sold them. And I made, I don't know, a couple $100,000. And then I 1031 exchanged that into, guess what? Bigger deals, of which I did my coaching at, of which I made more money off of. Everybody see where I'm going with this? So I haven't got into multifamily yet. I haven't got into some of the other things, but I'm very interested in it. Right now, my focus is in, what'd you say again?
Yet.
Yet, and I said yet, but I'm very interested right now in building greatness factories. And because I want to license those greatness factories, which means once I get this one upstairs going in Nashville, and you're going to want to see it when it's done, I already have interest in Miami. I'll have interest in Houston. When I get this thing done, I will have probably 50 of these all over the country. And that will be my McDonald's model, right? And I may not own the real estate, or I may own the real estate, or I may license the concept. So I'm very interested in real estate, but I'm also still interested in the coaching piece because that's who I am as a person. Okay, and so this is the cycle I think people have to go through. And why did I write the book Single Digit Millionaire? Because I very seldom talk about that book. It's because so many people said, how did you go from a high school basketball coach to this? Everybody see that? And I said, I'm just going to write it down in the book. This is exactly what I did. But I wrote it backward. I didn't set out to do it. Everybody with me? I just set out to do what I love doing every day. And one day I said, man, this is a cool way to do this. Okay? So I encourage you, if you're sitting in the room tonight and you're like, man, I need to find my primary skill. Primary skill is very specific. Okay? Like I take complicated concepts and I make them simple. One of my primary skills is taking a concept and packaging and monetizing that concept. So I generate money in 12 to 15 different ways. I speak, I coach, I train, I lead, I write books, I do licensing deals, I have online academies, I have strategic partnerships, I own equity in certain companies. Everybody see that? But at the end of the day, it all goes back to my primary skill. Okay? And without that skill, I feel like I wouldn't have the opportunities that I've had. in my life to do what I love doing with great people to do. The Greatness Factory is just a manifestation of all of those things into one place, one real estate place. Okay? So I want to encourage you. You have something special, but until you find it, until you package it, until you know how to sell it to the world, then you never really get to those levels that I'm trying to get people to. Everybody with me? Okay, the people I've been coaching for 5 years or more, some of those people, most of those people are now earning between 500,000 and 4 million personally. But notice how many years I said I've been their coach. I didn't say I was their coach for 1 year. I didn't say they came to one class. I didn't say they read one of my books. What did I say? I said they've been in the coaching program for 5 or more years. Now, what does that typically indicate? They have mastered a lot of the things we teach. They can teach them. Everybody with me? Now, why do they still show up for coaching? When they asked Michael Jordan about playing with without Phil Jackson, when they wanted to fire Phil Jackson the last year with the Bulls, Michael Jordan made a very strong statement. A lot of people missed it, but not me because I'm a coach. He said, don't put me in a position not to play without my coach. That's the greatest player ever played, folks. So you're out there and you're thinking, why do I need a business coach? Let me go back in the end to the beginning. Why did those kids need great coaches? See, at some point in life, we make up our mind we don't need a coach. We're good without a coach. We're good. Right? Don't ask, don't challenge me, don't push me. The top players in the world all have somebody coaching them. Top CEOs, top leaders, the top Olympians, the top actors, they all have somebody coaching them. Because a good coach will not only activate their prey drive, but they will also find and feel their missing structures for them. Okay? And take them to levels they never thought they could take. So I want to encourage you, if you're out there and you're looking for a coach, I'm auditioning tonight to be your coach. Does that make sense? And if I'm good enough for Brian and Jana, hopefully I'm good enough for you, because I really believe that if you get involved in what we're doing and what they're doing, then good things are going to happen in your life. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. And that is what a good coach does. Okay. What questions do you have? Y'all been very attentive. Thank you for listening. I just bought a gym. F45 is the fastest growing franchise in the United States. And what I'm learning, they gave me a percentage of equity of that gym if I would be a member, be a part of it. And I've always wanted to see how it works. So I said, sure. And that will, number one, commit you to working out when you own a gym every morning. But it's interesting because I've been studying the dynamics. And there's a vicious cycle that we fight in America. The biggest fight we have in America is complacency. And complacency is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. And it's because human nature. We start with good intention, we fail to follow through, and then we experience guilt. Does that make sense? We start excited, prey drive activated, we fail to follow through, and we experience guilt. The guilt is actually associated with grief. We're grieving something. What are we grieving? We're grieving our lost potential. It's good to hear you talk about your story because you're manifesting and living your dream, traveling, going to different states, having your kids with you. That is your dream. How many people will never manifest their dream? Right? My dream was to become the next Covey, to impact as many people as my mentor impacted, right? To be known in the world, to matter, to contribute, to impact millions of people. And many people will never get that far because they start with good intention, they fail to follow through, they experience guilt, right? I've spoken at 2 funerals where they asked me to eulogize the person because they didn't have anybody to eulogize the person. And I said, I'd be happy to. I didn't know them that well, but they said they don't have a pastor and they don't have somebody to come in. And I said, I just got to ask a few questions. And I asked the family members, what did they do in their life? They said, well, coach, you never really did anything. I asked a community member that knew them, well, tell me something they did, something I can say. They said, well, they never really did anything. I asked some of their friends, tell me something that I can say at the funeral that they did. And they said, coach, you never really did anything. You know how sad it is to eulogize a person at their funeral and not have anything to say? When 30 or 40 people show up at the funeral. To know that you lived on planet Earth that many years and you never chased a dream, you never pursued anything big, you never activated your drive, you never helped a lot of people, right? It left an impression on me. I never wanted to do that again. I never wanted to live a life that didn't matter. I want when my life is over, say, man, this dude did so many things. built greatness factories all over the world, won championships as a basketball coach, wrote best-selling books, helped millions of people. Like, pick the top 3 things I did. That's what I want my life to be like. And doing that taught me that lesson. You don't want to get to the end of your life and not have anything to say. So real estate can give you a life that you can imagine, right? It can really be that. And if you see other people doing it, it's pretty good evidence that what? You can do it. You got a mortgage guy right here. You know what mortgage means? To death, right? It means you're going to owe till you die. Mortier, that's where the word comes from. Okay, mortgage is a manufactured product pushed through an assembly line, popped out on the other end. You know why I know that? Because I've coached some of the top mortgage people in the world. I understand the mortgage business. My 2 top mortgage people right now, one is going to do 200 million this year, one's going to do 150 million. That's crazy. But that's a false positive. Wouldn't you agree? A false positive is when the market is so good that anybody can make a lot of money in mortgage business right now. Does that make sense? So I spend a lot of my time on mindset saying, no, don't buy your own hype right now. Don't believe this. It's not going. It will go away, because I was coaching people in the housing crisis of 08. I was coaching some of the, one guy I was coaching worth 33 million. And he, in 08, I couldn't get him out of bed in the morning. I had to go to his house because of how depressed he was and get him out of bed and say, come on, man, we got to go. And I said, I'm going to make one rule if I'm your coach. You're the first one in every day, and you're the last one to leave. Because if you quit, the whole company's going under. And if you want to quit, then don't hire me to be your coach. But if you want to make it do it, then you're going to get your butt up and we're going to go to work every day. And now I say that because today he stuck through that housing crisis. Today he is worth 33 million. Everybody see that? And I even said that wrong. It's not worth 33 million, it's worth 210 million. He actually made 33 million this year in real estate. Everybody see that? And he used to work at Winn-Dixie mopping the floor. No college education. Made 33 million this year and worth $210 million through what? Real estate. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're part of this group. I hope tonight has been valuable. If you want to come back when I get the Greatness Factory finished, which will be in the next month or so, it's going to be a magical little city. You know, Walt Disney said, right? I want it to be different. I want it to be magical. Dadgummit, I want it to be better. And that's what I'm trying to do with the Greatness Factory. So when I get it finished, I want you to come back and tour it and walk through it and see it. It's got dream foundries and podcast studios and auditorium and training facility. It's going to be one of the coolest places in Nashville. I really want you to come back and see that. Fair enough?
Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, be sure to follow our Generational Wealth Learning series. On select Thursdays, we offer cutting-edge industry information that would normally cost thousands of dollars. And the best part, our education is absolutely free. If you register through our events page, you can join us live, either in person or over Zoom. In the meantime, like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a beat.